All right, Race Spray Nation, what is up? We are back with a very special episode. Y'all have listened to, undoubtedly, and reflected on the Okras, but you've never heard of the Roxies. So today, we have our expert panel. We've got the always lovely Michelle Navarro, straight back from the mountains. Michelle, how long were you in the mountains?
A total of 12 days, I feel like, but running for at least 11 of them. It was a long trip.
Are you a trail girly now? Are you going to forsake the road?
We might just be. Transitioning. Who knows?
Big news. Yep. Big news. Watch out. OCR people ever. Watch out. Michelle Navarro hits those trails. We might have a new top dog. And then we've got hailing all the way from Colorado. He's got a tie on today. We've got Jack Bauer. Jack, how we doing?
Not bad. I like the blue suit, Matt. Good choice.
Yeah. Well, you know, we gotta stick together. We gotta stick together. And somewhere in Wisconsin, where the beer flows like water and he looks the part, it's 4th of July week. He's feeling patriotic already. He's got two guns to show you, ladies and gentlemen. We got Brakken Crocker. BK, how we doing today?
We're doing great. Great to be here, Matt.
It's great to have you. Honestly,
for a minute.
Brakken, move it a little closer to you.
You don't tell me what to do, Jack.
I wasn't commenting on your outfit. I was talking about the microphone.
Listen, if you were watching this on YouTube or Spotify, now would be a great time to comment on whose outfit you like the best. I am almost positive that BK is once again going to be everybody's favorite, but time will tell. Gang, full squad today. How we feeling?
It's good. It's nice to be back home. I'm done with traveling for a little bit. Right after Chicago, going straight out west for a while. It'll be nice to dial back in and get into a routine. So that's how I'm feeling today.
BK, are we still training?
I mean, I'm in the dead opposite of Michelle. I'm in someone else's house in some other city, a mic that doesn't work. I'm holding this up like someone's grandpa trying their first Zoom call during COVID. It's just not going well.
This is reminiscent of like 2022 race brain. Your soil is going to settle. Like something's going to happen. This is set up.
You're all frozen on my screen right now. This is how it's going for me.
That's great. I love that. BK, how's the training going?
He didn't hear it.
Oh, you didn't hear me. That's tough.
Yeah, we're in the boonies. We're struggling.
I'm going to ask one more time. How's the training going?
I threw my back out 2 days ago. So I had to set up a camper yesterday and like a neck brace.
Honest question for you, BK, and we're gonna dive a little bit off of the topic because I'm curious from your perspective. I did listen to your TRP episode with Kirk where you made yourself a program and you've been pretty honest about how you want to get back into shape. Have you considered just like starting over? And I mean that like sincerely, like just like not just like throwing fitness out the window and being like, what would I do if I was coaching a beginner new to this? How would I get them ready?
Yeah. So since that episode, I was at World Championships with you all except Michelle, and it just captivated me, Matt. So all that I'm doing now is doing a beginner's build towards HYROX. So I'm signed up already. We got registered for Dallas mixed doubles. And then if Chicago,
and Lisa?
No, you couldn't pay Lisa enough money. And then if Chicago well and truly does happen, then that will be the single pro race. But all I'm doing is just that exactly. Baby HYROX steps.
You know, BK, I'm also going to race that Chicago. You just get on my hip and I'll just carry you to a PR.
As far as I can. I'll be there while I can be there.
I believe in you. I believe in BK. All right, gang. We are here to do the Roxies. In traditional race brain fashion, end of season, normally we do the Okras at the end of the year, but HYROX, we start in June and we go to June. So we're going to do the Roxies and the 24-25 season. We've got a couple different categories for you all. Everything will be discussed from after World Championships in Nice up until World Championships in Chicago. That is our time frame that we were referencing. So you may hear someone reference a race from September of October of last year. That's because this was the past season. So that's what we're going to do. We will each pick a moment or a person. We will name that moment and or person. Then we will debate. We will choose a winner. And then, as always, we will put that check in the mail. Jack Bauer will be responsible for putting checks in the mail. So if you don't get your money in timely fashion, take it up.
I'm the CFO. Okay.
I mean, who else is the CFO?
I guess Rich just got demoted.
Rich can't be CEO and CFO. That's huge
true.
conflict
That little
of
conflict of interest. Yeah.
That's a huge conflict of interest. All right, gang. We are going to start ourselves off. Actually, should we wheel of names for who gets to pick first?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Wheel of names. 1 second, please. Ooh, we already have Jack and Brakken in here. That's good. Michelle and Matt. All right. Let me close these ads. This is high quality production right now.
Only the best.
Only the best. Bam.
Can't
Can you
tell
see
if
my
Brakken's
screen?
frozen or not.
No,
Oh,
he's not.
okay. Yeah, he's good. He's good.
I have to sit very still for my back.
Oh, of course.
Of course. It's always Michelle.
Yep.
Michelle, you go first.
Yep.
Is my lowercase name intentional and reflective of my station today?
It's
Bother me also. You're blue, so you match.
You know what? It worked out for you, BK.
Just stumbled into mine.
Brakken will go second.
Oh,
Jack
yeah.
will go third. And for posterity, I will go fourth. All right. For the most electrifying race moment, this is men or women. We will kick it over to the Jersey Shore. Michelle Navarro. Michelle, what do you got?
Yeah. So I'll start with female first. I feel like I could say
this one is
We're
non-gender.
combining them.
it's just
this
gender. Okay. So
I did
use
as
your
well,
best.
Michelle. So I'm going to
Okay.
do the same thing.
we
I don't
need
care
to
what
have
they say.
options. So it's good to have options.
Okay, that's fine. You got options. We got options.
All right. Well, I'll go with the one impactful, the electrifying race moment that I feel like I had stuck in my mind was Sinead Bent at the Last Chance qualifier. I would say that was a pretty electrifying moment for a lot of people. And, you know, she came into this season, I guess you could say a little bit later on, just because we didn't see her in the elite field at all in the majors. But she came out with a bang, and she definitely delivered in her first ever world championship for HYROX. So her performance getting second place at the Last Chance qualifier, I feel like was it was a pretty outstanding performance for me. The way that she raced and her kind of effort throughout, I think, was something that was really inspiring to many. So that's what I've got for my most electrifying race moment.
All right.
like
Sinead Bent.
Like Michelle,
At
I did my
LCQ.
homework. So I have a male and a female moment. Sinead was also my female moment for a different reason, but I think it's going to get brought up. So I'm going to move to the men's. Now, we could talk electrifying as in like excitement and sizzle, but we could also say like provocative, gets the people going. And so I went with my most electric race moment of the year, Dylan Scott, finish line. Remind you who the F I am. It
That was
got
gonna be
people
mine. Damn it.
talking about the sport. It built up a storyline moving forward towards world championships. We are a sport that has eyes on it right now, and there is no such thing as too much drama. So give me Dylan Scott, who the F I am.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Dylan's
All right,
always gonna be
Dylan Scott
electrifying.
in Vegas. All right, Jack.
Well, what's the whole point of this season? It's to crown a world champion. And if you can't say that those final 30, 40 wall balls between Hunter McIntyre closing in on Tim Venus to try to see who's going to be this year's world champion was not the most electrifying moment, I don't know what sport you were watching. I have never just been on the edge of my seat as much, just watching Hunter just close in, going unbroken. And then Tim stopped and then hit stop again. And it just, the drama in that moment, the crowd was going wild. And that truly determined a world championship. What was it? 98 to 100 right there. It was maybe 2 wall balls off to determine the title. Tim taking home the win while Hunter was just breathing down his neck. That was the most electrifying moment of the year.
Yeah, definitely had that as well.
These are great moments. This is tough going forth because the 2 that I had picked.
You didn't do 4? Nice research, Matt. Least prepared host, Matt. There we go.
No, I just didn't think that
feeling himself in a power suit.
I just didn't think that
A
Dylan
different kind of
Scott
Jack
in
Bauer
Vegas. I thought
Exactly.
BK would go a different direction. For most electrifying race, I'm gonna call all the way back to that to the Glasgow race for JK, and the reason why is because that race was very impressive to watch, and he was basically a fraction of a second off of the world record, which has not been standing for too terribly long. I think it's getting close to being 2 years old now. But Hunter had said it, and we hadn't honestly seen anyone really get close since that Stockholm race, and where it feels like world records were going down and going down and going down. That one is held for a little bit of time now, relatively speaking to the overall HYROX age. And it just was a dominating performance. So I'm going to go JK's near world record performance. It's the fastest time of the year.
Yeah.
All right.
Start
So
debate.
now we debate. We've got Sinead Bent in the LCQ. We've got Dylan Scott. Don't forget Who the Fuck I Am. We've got Jack Bauer with the Tim Vinish call out. And we've got JK in Glasgow. I'll go ahead and make it easy because I already said this. That was the moment that I was going to pick was BK's. Dylan Scott, Who the F I Am, gets my vote.
Well, I'm going to sow the seeds of anarchy. I hate to say it. I'm with Jack Bauer.
Yeah, same.
Damn
Unlike
right.
Jack, I wasn't sitting down on the edge of my seat. I was standing. I was pulsing with the roar.
Well, you have a back problem. So.
Not that. There has not been a louder crowd in the history of HYROX than that world championship, and it crescendoed at the wall balls. It got progressively louder every time Tim broke. It is the most electrifying moment in the history of HYROX. I'm saying it. Now we're 2 apiece.
Yeah, I agree. I chose my female option instead of my male option. That was my male option. That's 100% an incredibly electrifying moment. And to actually have been there and watched it in person was pretty incredible. So
Allegedly.
yeah, I was there.
We don't have sprint finishes in HYROX. We have wall ball offs, and just the contrast in I'm going to go unbroken versus I got here first, and I'm going to strategically time my very short breaks and still try to hold you off. That is the only type of sprint finish that we have in this sport, and it couldn't have been at a more impactful time.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think this is a pretty easy debate because BK switched. Michelle went with that over her own, and obviously you're not going to go get yourself, Jack. So it's 3-2. So
3-2, all 5 of us voting.
There's a fifth.
Check
Well,
that, man.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but you get there's a 1 vote to everyone's original.
That's not how we've
choice.
done the. No,
Okay,
we're
fine.
even
3-1,
shares.
whatever. However you
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
do it. 3-1. It doesn't matter. Tim Vinish, your check is in the mail. Put your name on it. All right. Tim Vinish, most electrifying race moment. On to most electrifying non-race moment.
Most impactful, yeah.
Most impactful non-race moment. We're going to go ahead and flip the script now. It is going to go me, Jack, BK. Michelle, I will lead us off. I'm actually going to, I think everybody thinks that the obvious choice here is the sleds, but I'm actually going to zag. I think the most impactful non-race moment was whatever the hell HYROX decided to do end of December, early January with the timing change. The amount of controversy, I think we've kind of forgotten about that because in a world where everything moves on quickly in news cycles and whatnot, like that was a big deal. You couldn't even go and like, if you just wanted to see like what the top I don't know, the number 12 person in your age group did. You can't. You couldn't go past 10. You had to basically know everybody's name in order to see the impact of the results. And it's like the first thing that the HYROX community actually revolted on that caused HYROX to do an about face and make a change. We did see them, I guess, technically kind of do an about face on sleds at Worlds. But the first thing that they did was the about face on the timing. And they actually they pulled it back and went back to Micah timing. And so that for me was the most impactful non-race moment.
I like that.
Good.
Yeah.
We'll talk about after each person nominates.
Yep.
My most impactful non-race moment, I think, was actually when Meg Jacoby decided to end her season early because of injury. That totally shook up the entire field. She's the reigning world champion. She started her season off with a close second place finish in Amsterdam, the first major of the year. And then we're like, oh, she'll come back from surgery, and she had a serious injury, and she hopped in a couple double races, and we thought that she was going to show up finally ready to go for Worlds in Chicago, but she pulled the plug, and that allowed a big shakeup in the leaderboard in a race that favored athletes who prefer a heavier sled. Yeah, when you lose the defending world champion midway through the year, that's unbelievably impactful.
Well, shucks, Jack. I chose her injury as the most impactful. I don't think I can say it's too different from yours. So I'm just going to be the low-hanging fruit here and say turf, the sleds. Was it the turf? Was it the runners? Was it a bad excuse by HYROX after the fact? We don't know, but the sleds at World Championship are the final thing that got talked about on the year. Fresh in everyone's mind. I'm going to go with that.
All right. Well, I'm going to do a different time circumstance, and I'm going to go with what just recently happened, which was inputting the time penalty at the end of the elite races to determine who's the winner, which completely shook up how certain races ended up just actually finishing, with people finishing first, but not actually being the winners. I think that was a major update, and we're going to see more of it in, the coming season.
Yeah. Okay.
These are all really good. And they're
These
so
are good.
different.
All right. So we've got the Micah timing changes. We have Meg Jacoby ending her season early. We have got turf. And then we've got people finishing first, but not being the winners. Who would like to plead their case first?
I'll not mine, but I think Michelle's pretty right. Like, I didn't think about that, but we saw literally world champions crowned in the women's doubles race after the race. And how many times were athletes on the podium just like, okay, did they get a 15? Did they get a 30-second podium? It affected, just the suspense of the men's race also. I think that's a huge, huge difference maker.
I think it's hard to actually watch the race when you don't know who's in the lead, because there's random time being held by someone, and it's going to be added at some point after the race is finished. Like, it's, I think we've discussed this on previous podcasts already. It's just going to look very odd when people cross the finish line and we're not sure who's in first.
No matter what happens moving forward, you have to have the winner cross first if it's at all within your power. However, I'm going to say that is a race moment. The turf is a race moment. The only non-race moment, it's either Micah, or Meg. And I'm going to jump ship to Meg. Meg impacted the entire season for an entire gender. It doesn't get bigger than that.
Yeah, we saw second place at Worlds last year. Michael Sandbach not show up, but he didn't win the world title, and he's hit or miss. When he has his day, he's as good as anybody in the sport. That's Meg Jacoby is a podium lock, or has been historically. And in a season where we saw several new women emerge as podium threats, for the defending world champion not to be there at most of those races, that just changed the entire narrative of season 7.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Yep.
Yeah, I would say not to play semantics here, but the people finishing first but not actually being first, I could see it being a non-race moment. I could also see it being a race moment because they were just being assessed penalties that they got. I would agree. I think I probably would also go with Meg. because although she got hurt racing, she made decisions the rest of the year that then rippled and affected every major. It wound up affecting not taking anything away from Linda, but you don't know how that race goes if Meg's involved. It probably also, it definitely impacted the relay. It also impacted the doubles. So I think I tend to agree. I think that is the reigning world champion in one of the fastest of all time not being involved in the race. Definitely, like if Jakob chooses not to run in the 5K or 10K, right? Like that just fundamentally changes the field.
Well, that's kind of happening right now with them injured. But another tie-in with kind of what Michelle was saying, where we just have improper seating, where there are several athletes from later heats. We saw it with Melanie ended up qualifying for Worlds from a later heat. We saw the team from Spain end up getting Elite 15 doubles from a later heat. I feel like that kind of ties in with the timing also, where you don't cross the line, or you win, but you didn't cross the line first. I feel like we had way too many moments of those throughout the season.
Yeah, I agree.
Am I 2 for 2 with swaying the vote by jumping ship?
I still think it's Meg, but I think Michelle had a really good argument there.
I feel like Meg is also like that really did. When you have someone like her in the field, especially at all of the majors, the dynamic completely changes. So the doors were open for more people to ascend, basically. But when she's in that race, she definitely affects everybody else, and the race kind of changes. She's been so consistent throughout her career, and that was something that definitely shook up the entire field for the whole season. So I could be swayed that direction as well.
Okay, so roll call. We'll just put everybody on record to make it easy. Michelle, your final vote.
I'll go with Meg. I'm swayed.
Okay, that's 1 for Meg. Brakken, your final vote.
Meg.
Okay, I'm also going Meg, so that's at least 3 votes.
4 for 4.
All right, Meg Jacoby. Her check is in the mail. Although knowing Meg, she does not want a Roxy for this.
No, but it's a justification to your greatness if your lack of participation has ripple effects through the entire sport.
Single most impactful moment of the year, basically.
Yep. All right, we will go back to Michelle. We are going to do female rookie of the year. Michelle Navarro, lead us off.
Yeah, this is tough because there's some really great female athletes that bursted onto the scene this year, but I have Joanna Wetrick as my rookie of the year. She came out in her first major and got the podium, and she hasn't left it since. So she's definitely the rookie of the year, and I think this is only just the very beginning for her, and it's pretty crazy that this is the beginning, being on the podium so consistently.
All right, Joanna Wetrick. Brakken.
I think it's going to be a clean sweep. So just for the sake of saying her name and is deserving, Emily Dahmen needs to be talked about how incredible her debut was as well. Joanna's was better, but Emily's not going to win anything today, and she deserves something. And this is the closest to the kudos she's going to get.
Yep. All right, Emily. Emily Dahmen. Jack.
I've got to go Melanie Maurer. She ended up qualifying for Worlds, former triathlete. Everyone knows her background. To end up making the Elite 15 in the most competitive year so far in your rookie season, that's a huge impact. And she made it the hard way, basically, from Heat 2 in the last chance qualifier.
Wow, that's crazy. 2 really good names being left off that I now get to choose from. It's either going to be Sinead or Lucy, and I am going to go with Lucy Proctor. She had a top 5 finish in a major at Vegas. Then she finished 6th in Glasgow, and then she finished the year. I keep getting roasted in the comments. It's Glasgow, right? Yeah, Glasgow.
Mm-hmm.
She finished 6th at Glasgow, and then she finished 5th at Worlds. So a top 5 finish in a major and a top 5 finish at Worlds. She's still incredibly young, and honestly,
Lucy Proctor is a rookie.
Yeah, she's been racing pro division since 2023.
2023.
Okay, but she hasn't raced
like
elite
fields.
Yeah, elite fields.
Okay.
I'll allow it.
She's not going to win this category because certain people are in it. But I was with the same.
I was on the same.
I
was going off of people in elite fields.
Me too.
Okay. Can
Then
argue either way.
proceed.
Yeah.
Because I mean, just because you played college baseball and then you get drafted and wind up in the majors, you're still a rookie.
True.
Same
she
thing
was
in the
AAA in 2023. We'll
Yeah.
give it that. So continue. I'll allow it.
Yeah. Okay. It doesn't really matter because I think that this is going to be the easiest vote of all time. I think the answer is Joanna Wetrick.
Second that.
Yep.
Do we need to debate it? We should, for her sake. Got to justify.
Those women
it.
needed to be mentioned.
For sure.
In a year without Joanna, that would be a very difficult category.
Yeah, if Joanna doesn't exist, but she won a major, she took second in 2 majors, she took third in her first major, and she took second at Worlds.
I mean, she's one of the first to really completely raise the bar and get up there with the likes of Megan Lauren. And, she won a major and she's continued to give Lauren Weeks some really great competition throughout the years. And we've seen kind of a gap between the rest of the fields and the top. And she was pretty much the first one to really excel and, close that gap. Now we're seeing it much more from all the other women that we mentioned. But yeah, I think this is her moment for sure. She's definitely the best rookie that we've seen this year.
Yeah. As great as they were, none of them challenged her.
Yeah.
No doubt. All right. Joanna Wetrick, we're not going to be able to put it in the mail. I think it's going to have to be UPS or FedEx, but we will get it all the way down under. Joanna Wetrick is your 2024-2025 Female Rookie of the Year. On to the dudes. We flip it back around. I will be the first pick. And I am going to go with one Tom Rogers. Tom Rogers is my pick for Rookie of the Year. He got his way into the elites via the last chance qualifier where he threw down with an impressive 56.05. Followed that up with a 6th place finish in the world in a stacked field, in a stacked race, and also raced in that elite pro doubles race as well. So Tom Rogers is my nomination.
Solid pick. I am going to go with Emilio Aguayo. He ran a 54.35 in Berlin. I know Berlin's fast. You run 54 something in your rookie year. Don't forget at the Barcelona last chance qualifier, he came in like 2nd place and then had a nightmare on wall balls. This guy's going to be the real deal next year. I am almost certain he'll be in the Elite 15 next year after a fantastic rookie season.
That's a Jack Bauer pick right there. And I like it.
Mm-hmm. And he listened to Race Brain.
And then that cements it for me. But Matt, I'll give Matt credit. Matt called this 5-6 months ago. He said this may already be over. Tom Rogers is the Rookie of the Year, barring someone doing something crazy. And I've been on the train ever since. I'm not changing it. I'm going to ride with Matt on this. Tom Rogers is the only pick.
That's definitely my pick as well, but I'll name someone else that I feel like was impressive this year. I believe it's his first year. I'm going to go Jake Dearden here. I know it didn't end up the way that he wanted at the end, but he did continue to do fairly well in the majors. He was 11th first, then 5th, then 6th. So I feel like he will only continue to ascend. He's also still one of the younger athletes. He's got so much room to grow.
Jack, I saw your mouse shoulder twitch.
I was disappointed in you because you didn't pick Richard Hynek. Come on, Brakken, you could have done that. You met him recently.
Is he an elite athlete yet?
No. I was doing a similar pick to me, where it's true rookie, haven't competed in any division prior to this.
Next year.
True.
Yeah, this will be. I think this is actually going to wind up being an interesting debate because I am on the Tom Rogers train because of how he finished at Worlds, but Michelle gives a worthy opponent in that this was Jake's year prior to, so he did an 11th in Amsterdam, although that was right after running the Cape Town
Marathon.
Or he ran them. Yeah. Right after running the Cape Town Marathon, I think. Then he got a 5th in Vegas, and then he got a 6th in Glasgow. And then he also had that 50.04 time with JK. And then he was hurt and did not compete at Worlds. So he does have a top 5 finish at a major and just missed that top 5. So I don't know that it necessarily changes my mind, but I think it's at least worth
Is
discussion on the
6th at
panel.
Worlds better than 5th at a major?
In that race, yes, personally, but that's just my opinion.
I think if Jake shows up to Worlds and competes and is able to compete, he probably steals this award right back. But recency bias in the weight of World Championships, I still vote Rogers.
Tom had to travel from Australia to get that last chance qualifier, go back to Australia, and then he had to go to North America and he took down one of the deepest fields for that last chance qualifier. Everybody wanted those final spots, and then he got 6th against everybody when he finally got the chance to face everybody at Worlds. We talk about how Jonathan Wynn kind of he's that forgotten guy from Australia. They're always leaving him off the relay teams. Tom Rogers deserved a spot on that just as much as anybody. Also, his season was so under the radar. He's just doing all these local races in Perth and Brisbane and Sydney. No one's showing up to those for the most part, and he's still running 58, 59 at these local races. Finally gets his chance and delivers. I think that he, without question, should be the breakout star.
Yeah, I mean, I would also agree. Tom Rogers is the pick here. He did burst onto the scene late, and when he got his first elite experience, it was at the World Champs, and he delivered a 6th place, which is probably one of the, I don't know, but it sounds very impressive to me to get 6th in your first ever, elite major or World Championship experience.
Yeah. All right. Sounds like we have agreement. Tom Rogers.
Yep.
We got to send another one all the way down.
Send it at the same time. We got to save money on shipping.
That's right. You were going to say, should we, Jack? Should we what?
Oh, should we send the checks together?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. We should send them together. All right. Your rookies of the year, Joanna Wetrick and Tom Rogers. The Aussies take the clean sweep on the rookies of the year. We are going to flip again. We're going to do most improved. But this time we will start with the dudes. I think this one is back to Michelle. Michelle, your most improved male athlete on the year.
Yeah, so considering from the very first major up until the World Championships, I'm going Dylan Scott here. He started out with a 15th place in the very first major at Amsterdam, and he came to the World Champs and got a 3rd, also stopping into Las Vegas and winning one of the majors. So I feel like he's been so consistent throughout this year, which I think we've all believed he was capable of, and he absolutely delivered this year. So he's my most improved.
I had him down as well as an option. I also had Rich Ryan as an option. But I decided to go with most improved over last year. And so give me Hide. He went from a name we had seen and discarded to a legit force of nature who was the best of the rest at the World Championships right up until it kind of the wheels came off at wall balls. But he was clearly better than everyone else that wasn't running for the win for 7 stations at World Championships. And so I just can't deny it. And he looked calm and in control the entire time doing it. I think he is going to be a legit problem next year, but I think this was his breakout year. He is most improved in the entire season for me. Jack Wiersma?
I think it's a V sound.
Wiersma.
Yeah.
Wiersma. All right, Jack.
I'm not disappointed in your pick. I'm just disappointed that you stole it because I was about to give a lesson that this guy deserves the pick. So good nomination, Brakken. But there's another athlete who had a podium in Las Vegas, got 4th in Glasgow, just kind of asserted himself instead of just being known as a closer. He's just a good racer, period. Bo Wills seemed to level up this year.
For sure.
He definitely did.
He definitely did. That's a good pick. I am going to go with the Homer pick, and I am going to take one Richard Ryan. And then I will just go ahead and start the debate off by pleading my case. The reason why I'm taking Rich over Dylan and over Bo is because, and Jack, keep me honest here. BK and Michelle, you keep me honest too. Bo was basically in all of the majors for the most part. He's kind of been a mainstay of the majors. Sure, he didn't necessarily have the top finishing times that he has achieved this year, and that is impressive. But it wasn't too long ago, and Dylan Scott was the same way. Dylan Scott had his picks or had his majors, and then also has won a major. And so I think we saw Dylan ascend, but like he was definitely there. Since 2022, after the Vegas championship, when I believe Rich finished, he was fifth. He was fifth. Okay, when he finished fifth.
I think he was sixth.
He has been, it was some combination of that. But since that time, Rich basically was the odd man out. He was having to rely on roll downs. He didn't have any direct entries. He needed to get in. He got into Worlds. I mean, he did get into Worlds because of his finish. I believe it was in Washington, D.C., but even that was close. And his battle with Graham at the end, like it was kind of, am I going to get in and am I not going to get in? Rich dropped 254s this season. 254s. He is now firmly in. He also holds the world record for the men's pro doubles time. And like, yes, I know that we have the recency bias of Worlds didn't go the way that we thought it would, but like, I think Rich went from being a fringe Elite 15 athlete to now he is firmly inside of that top 15, maybe even potentially top 10. And on his day is a podium threat. So that's my argument for Rich.
No response. I agree.
Thinking
it. Well, I'm just thinking that if you look head to head against Michelle's nomination, Dylan Scott, Rich was 0-3 this season. He's 1-2 head to head against Bo Wills this season, and he lost to Hide in that World Championship. So he has, without question, improved a lot. But have the others around him improved even more? And
head to head doesn't mean anything to me, and personally, and we're talking most improved because Dylan Scott, like to me, again, my argument is like Dylan Scott's got to be up for other categories here. Dylan Scott has won a major. We have seen the ability for Dylan to win big races prior to this season.
I look at this as every single athlete here, except for Brakken's nomination, has raced in world championships before. So yes, you've improved your standing within the Elite 15, but who's the new one in? And that, I think Hide now is a name that we're going to have to talk about and finish this season strong. He was kind of known as only a doubles athlete beforehand and obviously did really well in some of those doubles races, but it had been a while since he had done a solo race, especially with pro weights. And he was the biggest game changer this year, in my opinion. Just his running, he's got a big frame on him, and I feel like he's going to do some damage next year. So to come from who is this guy to making the Elite 15 and finishing 7th at Worlds, that's my vote.
BK?
Well, I like your argument. You have me second guessing myself that Rich went from fringe guy to he could on his day win a world championship. And Dylan went from he pops a race or two and he's up and down to consistent and could win world championship. And Bo, I think, has a real claim for having elevated his game the most this year. Rich is absolutely a new athlete, but he has been top 6 in the world before.
It was actually 7th. I looked it up.
7th.
Yeah, we were both wrong. We were both
set up for failure.
Yeah.
But Hide went from no one to nearly a podium. And so I have to stick with that.
All right, that's 2 for Hide. Michelle?
Yeah,
You don't have to agree.
I know. Again, it's just because everyone has their case and it's different too. Like I picked Dylan because of the consistency factor. I just feel like that was the breakout for him this season. And that's why I chose him.
Yeah,
well,
for me,
I will say this.
I'm thinking of this in the context of like the Elite 15 specifically. So to me, if we were doing like a breakout athlete of the year, Hide would be the choice because he obviously came on to the scene. This was his first real Elite 15 race. And he actually, yes, he finished 7th. So that is a very impressive. But for me, when I'm thinking of improved, I'm thinking like, where were they historically and where are they now? I'm not saying that we should go with Rich. I'm not saying we should go with Bo. That's just my logic of why I went that direction. I can see the argument for all votes here.
Yeah.
I just will not give this award by myself with my vote to Rich or Dylan. I need them as the underdog, chip on the shoulder, angry versions of themselves for this offseason because they're my boys. And so because I like them so much, I'm going to deny them an award in order.
All right. So we got 2 votes. So it comes down to Michelle. Michelle, are you going Heedy?
Let's do it.
All right. That's 3 votes for Heedy. Your check is in the mail. Wow. A lot of non-Americans. Americans need to step up.
Hey, Meg got an award.
All right.
Might be return to sender.
Most improved female on to the women. And I guess it was Michelle, you started on the men, right?
Yes.
Okay. I am going to go with I'm going to go Jess Petro. And the reason why I am going to go with Jess Petro is I feel like not only is she, I mean, she just kind of, we knew who she was. She was on the fringe last year of Elite 15, was kind of like had one of those top times. She got into Amsterdam by way of putting up an impressive race in the Perth race. She got 6th there. She got 8th in Hong Kong. She came over. She did not race Vegas, but then she raced Glasgow where she got 7th. And then she wound up getting a top 10 finish at Worlds with a 9th place finish. And then she also finished 6th in the women's pro doubles. Jess Petro is my vote.
All right. That was who I was thinking of. But I think Amy Bevilacqua has a significant case right there. You don't get better.
Maybe
you don't get better as you get older. I know that's everyone mentions her age, but what she is doing is just so stunning in her 50s against the field has never been deeper than it is on the women's side. And to finish 8th at World Championships, I know that she finished 7th the year before. This is a different season in terms of depth. When she went from, what did she run? Like 61 high in Toronto. And everyone was just like, wow, or 6109 is what she ran in Toronto this past fall. Prior to that, 63.47 was her best right there. She leveled up almost 2.5 minutes right there. And to be doing this and just consistently running her own race, just staying in the back and picking people off, what she's doing is just, it's amazing.
Yep. All right, Amy Bevilacqua, Brakken.
I was going to go Vivian DeFudo. I think that she has upped her game a lot, but she already had good finishes last year that weren't substantially beaten by her finishes this year. So I do want to mention that she very much impressed me in her evolution as an athlete this year. But we just had someone go from 5th place at Worlds to 1st place and cut 3 minutes off their time doing it. I have a hard time not taking Linda Meyer.
Yeah.
I honestly, for what it's worth, debated that. And yeah, I mean, the world champion means something for me. She's spoiler alert. For me, she's my vote for number 3 all time on the women's field. So for me, I was like, I can see that argument. All right, Jack. All right,
No,
Michelle.
me.
All right,
Yeah.
Michelle.
Second one.
Yeah, very good choice, Brakken, because that was also my original. But I also would like to mention, and my pick will be Kate Davey here. Also for the consistency factor. She had a 4.36 finish in majors. I know it didn't work out well for the last one, dealing with an injury. But I think she still showed up really well and performed this year, to the top of her abilities. So I feel like she's most improved in terms of just being at the top and being one of those names that we're always mentioning could be podium threat.
It's a good one.
Yeah, it's a good one. As I've sat here for the last 10 seconds and thought about this more after BK said it, I don't think anybody picked Linda to win. I think everybody thought it was a 2-horse
Literally
race.
No one did.
Literally no one.
Survey.
Yeah, no one did. And we had said that we always knew that there was a chance that Lauren Weeks or Joanna could get beaten, but we thought they'd get beaten by each other. We didn't think that, I don't think anyone saw a world where like Linda ate them up. Lauren Weeks is the greatest of all time. Joanna, if she keeps going at this pace, could one day take that title herself. So I think I'm swayed. I think the gap that existed between third and first prior to this season was massive. So I would probably go with Linda personally.
Yeah.
Does
Not changing it.
Does the fact that Linda already had a second place finish and 5 podiums in Elite 15s prior to this and was kind of a lock all last season? I understand that, you know, winning a world championship, that single performance matters more, but she was already there and she had beaten several.
It's kind of like Toby beating Hunter, isn't it? Like Toby was a good athlete.
It was unexpected, definitely.
Prior to her 58-minute performance, her next fastest elite race ever was 1:01:02 in 2023. Last year it was 1:02. So not only did she go 5th to 1st, but she also cut almost 3 minutes off doing it.
Yeah, and also like the biggest jump of all is to actually win something instead of being third or second. So to me, that was the most impressive. Even though she's been on the podium, that's still one of the hardest jumps to make, to actually pull it off and beat the rest of the field. So I would go for Linda here.
Yeah, I was just doing devil's advocate. Realistically, Linda's the easy choice.
Okay. All right. Linda is the pick. All right. I have to go let someone in. This is awkward, so I'm going to step away. But while I do, Michelle, kick us off with your pick for duos males.
All right. I am going with Rich and Pelayo here for best team duo. I feel like this is an easy choice because they crushed it by getting the world record by over a minute and a half. That Miami race was electric, and they clearly have great chemistry together working as a team. And unfortunately, we did not see them all the way through at the World Champs for Elite Pro Doubles, but I can't wait to see what they do next year. So they're my vote for best team duo.
I think they are the vote. However, in a universe where they do not exist, we are looking at Ryan Kent and Rylan Shadig as world record holders, and the threat, probably the favorite threat for world championships next year. I think the team that won from Germany had the single greatest individual athlete on the team, and you could probably, no disrespect to his partner, but you could probably plug and play several athletes into that role and they'd still win. In fact, Tim had to row 750 meters, a superhuman effort to do it. That's not necessarily teamwork. I think that Rylan Shadig and Ryan Kent were the next best team we could put together, and they proved it twice. So while I think that Rich Lyo is the pick, this team is almost every single bit as good as them, and they're less experienced.
Not a bad nomination. However, there's only one team that came out on top at the Paris doubles, taking down countless Elite 15 individual athletes. So it doesn't matter how good each individual person is. The sum of your parts. Roberto Viciedo Jimeno and Luis Garcia Rubio taking second place at Worlds. Also, the Spaniards, just don't forget, they won from the from like heat 6 or something like that in Paris to even get the chance to show up in Chicago and then beat both of your picks. I know that Rich and Pelayo DNF'd because of injury, but they took it to Ryan and Rylan. And is there a team more dangerous on wall balls? I don't know how they do it. They were dropping like 306s for some of their splits for wall balls in these team races. You do not want them near you. And a first and second place finish in the 2 biggest team races that they've done all year. That's hard to argue against.
It's a good pick.
That's a good pick. I, though, have to stick with what I know, with my roots. I have got to go with one raw Debo. And I look, I get it. I know what you guys are going to say. Jack is looking off like, oh my God, I can't believe this dude's on the show.
How do
Happy
you leave
listening.
off the world champs to pick them? No offense. Like,
'Cause
no
that
one
wasn't a team.
nominated Tim and Yannick so far.
Because it wasn't a team. Tim Vinish was like, that was like Jordan. Like that was like Jordan flu game type heroics.
They had to be a team to qualify, though. I guarantee you.
Fine. I don't
Yannick was
care.
running good.
I don't care. My argument for this is quite simply, prior to this season, nobody knew who Dawson Miller was if you weren't in Wisconsin. People might have known who Marcus Wallace was. They went into that Houston race and they punched people in the mouth. And yes, that Chicago race did not go the way that they wanted it to, but I think that they're going to be a problem. These are two athletes that, you know, Marcus got into the Elite 15 race one time via a roll down. I just think that this is a team that I'm picking with my heart, and I know they're not going to get any votes, but I'm just saying this is a team that prior to the season, no one would have thought that they would have been in this position, but we knew, and our boys made us proud. And I didn't pick them when I should have in the draft. So I am covering up and making up for my sins. I'm taking them now.
Yeah,
Raw
this is buying
Devo.
diamond rings to make up for your infidelity.
Fine. So be it.
This might be
Give me Raw Debo.
This might be the worst pick of the award show. No offense. I like both of those guys. That's not a good pick, Matt.
You're going to sit here and give me a hard time for not picking the world champions when you also didn't pick the world champions. I'm not going to hear that.
left them on there.
I'm not going to hear that. I'm not going to hear it. I'm not going to hear it. You could have picked them and you didn't. So don't give me
the team
shit.
that got 3rd and 9th this year as your top, as the remaining.
They didn't get 3rd. They didn't get 3rd for a stats guy. That's
Houston.
some pretty.
This is also called
They
best.
took 2nd in Houston.
Second.
It's
Okay,
also
my
called
bad.
best team duo. So that doesn't necessarily mean who won the most races. This is just
Exactly.
best team duo.
That's best
I
team
just
duo.
thought it's
They've
good.
got the best. They have the best team name, Raw Debo.
That's
Debo's
true.
Debo has the best rec specs in the game. Roca, sponsor him.
All right, I
Dawson
can't
has the
believe
best
I have to
flow.
be the person to say this. We got to cut this down on time. And I'll make it easy on everyone. Rich Lyle, I'm
Yep.
flip-flopping to their boat.
Sticking with it.
I'm gonna go with Jack's vote of the Spaniards because
that.
yeah, I told you at the beginning that it was
we're still friends.
I told you that it was a homer pick.
Yeah,
I was very honest with what I was doing. It was a homer pick, but I'm going to go with the Spaniards because of where they finished at Worlds in a race against all of the best teams were in that race. Rich and Plow had to pull out because of injury, and that is unfortunate. But in that race, nobody except for me had the Spaniards on that podium, and they were there. That means something.
And they were 6 seconds away, thanks to the 30-second penalty that
And-
Team Germany got from being the champions.
Yeah, and I agree with Jack. Neither one of them had raced an Elite 15 race. They were largely unknown. The sum of their parts is greater than their individual as a whole. So I'm going to go with the Spaniards. So BK is on Rich Lyo. I am on the Spaniards. So
Same
it's down to, so is Jack. So Michelle.
I mean, I'm Rich Lyo still. They didn't even get their chance to compete at World Champs.
Is this Wheel of Names time?
This has to be.
It's got to be Wheel of Names.
There's no other fair way to do this.
All right. We're just going to put in, because it was Michelle's vote. And then
Yeah.
it was Jack's vote. So it's going to be Jack versus Michelle, the mixed doubles team. We've got some strife. We're going to see who's right.
Now, my
Only
heart
be-
wants Rich Lyle to win, but my racing spirit wants the Spaniards.
Underdogs again. Realistically, Rich and Pelayo, when they're healthy, are the best team in the history of HYROX. It's just that DNF got them. Oh, this is close. Oh, never mind.
Crushed it.
Not that close.
Looked it.
All right.
I don't know what
Rich.
Spanish for chip on the shoulder is, but congratulations, boys.
Rich and Pelayo, your check is in the mail. Actually, Rich, we're not paying you. Pelayo, your check is in the mail.
Yeah, we'll not remove equity from him this week for not being on the show.
All right. Doubles female. It is me. So I am going to go Team Proven, Joanna Wettrick, and Tia Toomey Claire. They raced one race together in the Houston race. They dropped the world record, of which they still hold. I believe it's like a 35 to 40-second gap over the next closest time in HYROX history. It is a bummer that Tia was sick and unable to race at Worlds, because I would have loved to have seen it against everybody else. But that race to me was still one of the more impressive races that we have seen. It was one of the most electrifying moments of the season. Actually, now that I'm mentioning it, I'm kind of surprised that we didn't mention that earlier. Give me Team Proven.
They
Jack.
proved that CrossFitters can run.
That's right.
A CrossFitter.
Yeah. The CrossFit World
The best in the world.
Yeah,
the greatest CrossFitter of all time.
No
You know what she
surprise.
did? To her credit, she did it on an accurately-ish measured course. Little outside the CrossFit realm. I was proud of her.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a goofy course, so that's within the CrossFit realm. Like 3 laps, lap 1, 2, the right, yeah. But
Houston?
No, that was in Houston. That was
Houston
I
was a
thinking
very fair
Chicago.
course.
You're right, Houston. Yep.
Yeah.
Tia did run
All right, Jack.
in Chicago, but it was mixed. But I don't care how the final standings are. They might have ended up losing their win due to a penalty, but they dominated that Elite 15 doubles or Pro 15 doubles race. Lucy Proctor and Sinead Bent, after winning in London, taking down a team of Megan, Camilla, and several other Elite 15 former athletes, just the dominating fashion in which they basically won, but ended up getting penalized to finish in second in Chicago. They were the best female team this year.
I'm not even going to submit someone else other than to give them their official mononym title. Lou Shade is the best team on the planet, and I don't think it's very close. I don't care that they don't currently have the world record. They would have spanked Proven at the championships. All respect to the greatest CrossFitter of all time, but Lou Shade is not to be trifled with.
Blue Shade.
Blue Shade and trifle. Those are some advanced words there, Brakken.
Thank you.
I will absolutely nominate the Laurens here because they are an epic duo. They always have been, and they will continue to be because they're both excellent and they have a great chemistry together. So Laurens for me, please.
All right. We've got Team Proven, Lou Shade, and the Laurens.
It's sticking.
Anyone
Matt?
changing their votes?
Are you sticking with the Laurens, Michelle?
I'm asking you first.
I will go with Lou Shade because I also saw them get better. They ran a very good race in London, and then they ran an even better race to the point that Jack brought up. It really wasn't close. It wound up being close, obviously, with the penalties, but what they took over pretty early in the race and then just never really looked back. So I think that's 3-1 Lou Shade, unless, Michelle, you're going to jump on for a clean sweep.
I was going to choose them from the beginning if I was first. So Sinead and Lucy, I would say, is the overall for all of us.
All right.
They're awesome.
Unanimous. 4-0. We're sending it. We're sending the check. So far, we don't even have has an American won yet?
Meg's back.
Oh, yeah, but that doesn't feel like winning.
It's not winning.
Yeah. All right. That is your duos, male and female. We have got Rich Lyo and Lou Shade. On to the overall male and female. We are starting with Michelle. Overall male, your male of the year.
Overall male of the year, James Kelly for me. His podium performances throughout the year, 2-1, 4-1, ending up with a very strong finish in a tough race for him at the World Champs, getting back to fourth. I still think that he was the best HYROX athlete of the year. It was a very impressive year for him.
Okay. JK, Brakken.
Yeah, this is probably the toughest year ever to pick the best male in my mind because Hunter raced twice. We had people beat him who also took 15th. We had near world records get set. But what it came down to me was JK and Tim. Tim made it at the last second, but JK, I think 2-1, 4-1.
Mhm.
Is that what it was?
Mhm.
Beats 2-4, 2-1. Whatever it was. 1 win versus 2 wins. And when JK did it, he did it. It was just weightier for some reason. Yes, Tim has a world championship, but JK was just, in my opinion, the best HYROX racer this year. He raced better than a lot of people, and he did it nastier. It's hard to do. I can't really put a word on why he was better. It's just the eye test. He was the best one out there. So I'm sticking with JK.
More impactful.
Yeah.
Both of you are doing JK?
Yep.
All right.
I thought we all had to give a different answer for posterity, but
Same
BK
here.
is out here.
Technically did.
Yeah, BK's out here with cutoffs and doesn't give a what. So okay, so we got 2 for JK.
All right.
Jack.
Matt, you can nominate. I'll take the other one.
Wow, you're foregoing your pick. I wasn't expecting that. Okay, well then I'm gonna put the person in here that should have gotten a vote, which is Tim, and then we can debate it in a second. So Jack.
All right, I'll go Hunter if you're not going Tim, or if you're going Tim.
Okay, I'm just gonna throw this out here really quickly. We're gonna go backwards in time to the Okras last year when we did this. We actually have precedent for this. You all went with one Meg Jacoby over Lauren Weeks for the same reason why Tim should win here, is that the world championship means more than those major wins. So Tim had a very good season in the majors outside of Las Vegas, but he won the one that mattered the most. I just don't like that has to mean something. And that race was stacked. It was the only race that had everybody in it. Hunter was in it. Ronkovich was in it. JK was in it. If you really want to make an argument, the only person who wasn't in it, who may have been a big factor, would have been Sandy, who basically didn't run. Did he run in Amsterdam? Or he didn't even run at all, did he?
DNF'd in his only.
Yeah, so basically Sandy was the only person who wasn't there. But all of the big names in the game right now were in the race, and he won the granddaddy of them all, as they say. So for me, like there's precedent for this. It's Tim.
I think that's a fair argument.
I don't think you might use the lawyer argument, but I don't think precedent necessarily means we have to decide the same way.
No, I'm just saying. I'm using that against BK specifically. So,
Well, the difference there is that it was Meg and Lauren we were arguing with, which are 1-2 all year together. That's the only difference. It's a good argument. I just don't put specific extra weight. I put a little extra weight, but not a huge amount on championships.
The only time that Tim ended up beating James this year in the 5 races head to head was at World Championship. He was brave enough or stupid enough, depending how you look at it, to go out with them during all these majors. So maybe it was a little flawed. Maybe if you had a little smarter.
So you're making the Patriots versus Giants argument, which is the Patriots were the best team the Patriots were the best team that year, but the Giants won the Super Bowl.
Yep.
That's the argument.
Yeah, absolutely. Season overall.
I was going to say, yeah, Tim was in majors 5-2, 9-2, and then got first. So yeah, that's how I kind of determined it as well. I'm looking at the overall season, even though World Champs is weightier, I agree, but I think just the way that JK raced all season was more impressive, maybe, and that's why I picked him.
Let's do a hypothetical. Would you have voted Hunter if Hunter did 100 wall balls when Tim was at 98 and barely ended up beating him there? Like, does the World Championship take away from no wins throughout the season at Elite 15 majors?
I mean, it's a completely different argument. Tim has 2 second place finishes at majors this season. So it's not like that's not
Hunter
like
at Las Vegas also got a second place.
How many is that, Jack?
That's 1.
That's 1. Tim has 2. Tim has 2 second place finishes. He's got a top 5 finish in Amsterdam, and then he has a world championship. So at 4 of the biggest races in the year in the elite fields, he has 4 top 5s, 1 win, 2 2s, 1 5. So it's different than Hunter for me because Hunter only raced he raced 2 majors. He had an 8th, a 2nd, and a 2nd. So Tim's got a 1 2 2 5.
I think that World Championships.
In fairness, JK has a 2 1 4 1 4.
Yeah. Brakken, I've got a question for you. All right, this is an OCR analogy. This is Robert Killian right here winning Tahoe when the rest of the season he wasn't the best racer, but was he the season's best racer because of that World Championship? Because we saw him show up, finish 5th, 13th, just however mixed in the field he was throughout the season, not winning, and then he delivered when it mattered the most.
Yeah. I think you're one of two people. You either really, really weight World Championships or you don't. And I think that's what this argument comes down to. But the way I look at championships is that if you took the championship off the board and you voted on this right before the World Championship, if it was close, the World Championship absolutely flips it. And if it's not close, I don't think it outweighs the season. Prior to World Championships, no one would have voted Tim as the better season than JK, and I don't think it would have been close. JK had more wins, and he scared the world record, and then Tim beat him. And so I don't think that the big win trumps the whole season where clearly he was better. But that's my
Two
bias.
big wins. 2 big wins because he's also the doubles world champion in what we just talked about in the previous category, which he basically single-handedly put Yannick on his back and took the
For sure, he did. But
he was
JK
the most
won
outstanding performer of the weekend, but does that offset the whole season?
Anyway, I think it comes down to what do you think about World Championships always? And I think a lot of people would love to weight World Championships heavy, and I don't. I know how hard it is to win World Championships and that more luck, timing, and other people can influence it, whereas an entire season of dominance can't really be fluked. I'm not saying Tim fluked it. It's just hard to get it all on one day, and some of it's outside of your control, but a season of dominance is not. So I'm not going to change my vote, but I agree with Matt on almost everything he said.
Yeah, I'm more consistency here rather than weight of the one that matters the most. But I agree. It's a fair argument.
The one I don't agree with is having Hunter on this list.
No,
I
thought that we had to do. Yeah, I thought we had to do a different person. I was, historically being consistent. It's between Tim and James.
And I think Dylan's the next one up on this list.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so James had, just for the sake of argument, James had a 2, a 1, a 4, a 1, a 4. Tim had a 5, a 2. What did he finish in Vegas? 9th?
Yeah.
And then a 2, and then a 1.
Most races, James was better. He went into World Championships, just like Brakken argued, as the likely front runner favorite. If people had to place betting odds, he still finished 4th. He even admitted his ego got in the way a little bit with his going out a little too fast on that. But if we're looking at the best overall athlete from this past full season, it's got to be James.
All right, final vote. Jack.
James.
Michelle.
James.
Matt.
It doesn't matter. You've made your point clear.
No, I haven't voted yet.
I'm giving it to Tim. I'm giving it to Tim.
I'm giving it to Tim. Wheel of Names decides it.
You just want to wheel of names again.
All right. So it's me versus
Me.
Michelle.
Matt, you can't just phone it in. You can't admit defeat.
I sure can. All right, Michelle, Matt, here we go. Let me get this up on the screen. Wheel up names.
Oh,
Boom.
Chaos.
unfair.
And anarchy.
Tim Vinish.
It's rigged.
That's not.
That's
you
what I
won
said.
the last
That's what I
time.
said about
That's
when you
ridiculous.
spun.
That's ridiculous. All right, Tim, your check is in the mail. That dude's rich. He's got a lot of checks lately.
Yeah,
A lot of
of them.
checks been in the mail. A lot of checks been in the mail.
Truly, that's tough to decide. I think it all comes down to how much you weight world championships. And I am on Brakken's side where they definitely matter, but I look at the full season as a whole.
Yeah, same.
And honestly,
fair.
I just don't like monopolies, and I was voting against Team Proven's stranglehold on Australia.
All right, overall female, it's me. This is based on the arguments, this should be the easiest category because you all have to be intellectually honest in the arguments you just made. If we're going consistency on the year, there is one right pick here, and it is none other than the GOAT, Lauren Weeks. Jack.
I'm going Lauren Weeks. If we're allowed to do duplicate picks like Brakken has done twice, then
All right, Lauren Weeks,
hard to argue
BK.
against it.
Feels lazy to me. I'm going to take Joanna.
Okay. Michelle.
Give me world champ Linda Meyer.
Whoa, anarchy. All right. Michelle just forsaked her entire argument from the previous round on consistency and everything else, and she's mad about the wheel of names.
Yep.
So she's going Linda Meyer. All right. All right. I guess Michelle, we'll start with you.
Yeah, no, I'm naming her because she deserves to be named because that was an incredible performance at the World Championships. I do feel like she had an amazing year, and she's always been consistent. And she proved that she can win on her day. But I will say that Lauren was my original pick, so I will be changing to Lauren Weeks.
Okay, so Lauren Weeks. So BK, make your case for Joanna.
It's Lauren Weeks. 1-2-1-1-3. That's the season. 1-2-1-1. She got beat
And
one time prior.
And the open world record in DC and the pro world record in Glasgow.
Yeah.
Joanna beat her twice.
When was the second one?
World
That
champs.
World champs.
Well, in the season, she got beat one time. And so following my argument, world record, season dominance, she had the best year. She's the best athlete. She did not.
And
win
in
world
Amsterdam, she
championships.
beat in Amsterdam. The only time the three best in the field at the time raced, where that was the Amsterdam race, and she came out on top. That was the only race we saw Megan.
Yeah, it was always Lauren. But Joanna had a spectacular season, and Linda had a spectacular season. But it's Lauren.
Yeah, I mean, she's got both world records in her name on the solo side. Like you said, she won 3 of the majors, and then she took third in that world championship. I mean, do we really need to debate this? Jack, do you want to play devil's advocate on anything?
I was just gonna say, even when Lauren didn't win, she was within 1% of the winner. When she was
We
just super
almost
close.
didn't get a percent of winner in this episode.
I'm using it to justify. But yeah, it's Lauren Weeks. End of the day.
All right, Lauren Weeks, your check is in the mail. Recapping what we got here. Most electrifying moment. Tim at the World Championship. Most impactful non-race moment. Meg Jacoby ending her season. Female Rookie of the Year, Joanna Wetrick. Male Rookie of the Year, Tom Rogers. Most improved male, Hedy Wiersma. Most improved female, Linda Meyer. Duos male, Team Rylan Kent. Duos female.
That's not right.
That
that's
doesn't
not right.
feel right.
Oh, you're right. It was Rich and Palaio. You're
Yeah,
right. It was Rich and
Scratch
Palaio.
that. Yeah.
Let's scratch that.
Oh, that is the meanest.
Just got to get it to Rich, you know.
Get an here's your reward.
On the female side, we've got Lou Shade, overall male. We had controversy here, but the German took it. We had Tim Weinisch. And then overall female athlete of the year. Finally, the Americans take one home. Lauren Weeks, Captain America, got us a win. Squad, we did it. Jack said there's no way we could do this in less than 2 hours. We're at 74 minutes.
I feel like that's
I'd like to take this
appropriate.
moment to review all the HYROX shoes for the upcoming 2026 season.
Stay tuned. If you're not liked and subscribed to the channels, you're about to miss quality content. You might look, all I'm saying is we got some stuff in the works. You might miss some shoe content. You might miss some travel hacks content. I don't know. I'm just saying you're going to miss out. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe to the newsletter. Support our boy Debo. Like and subscribe to the podcast, wherever you get your podcast, Spotify, YouTube. Let us know where we got it right. Let us know where we got it wrong. We want to hear back from you. Final thoughts from the panel.
This season was the deepest yet. Next year is going to be even more unpredictable, in my opinion. It's just as hard to get in, it seems like, if you don't get that fast course. So you might have a couple names sitting on the outside who are worthy of being in the mix, but it's going to be exciting.
Absolutely. Can't wait for it.
It's going to be great.
I think we say it every year. This is about to be the best year yet. But this is, without question, about to be the most chaotic year we've ever seen.
I agree. I think that if we learned one thing from this last year, when you think you know, you don't know.
I will never say etch that name in stone, put it on the chest. Never doing that again.
Yeah,
There's
honestly,
no such thing as a
if
given.
if I'm rich, I'm tracking you down because you put that bad karma out into the universe. That's on you.
That's not me. Rich wasn't
That's
the
on you.
one.
I know, but it's on you. But
the team name starts with Rich Leo. Rich did not get hurt. So
if you start getting some like shoulder or like elbow pain, it's because Pelayo's got like a voodoo doll of Jack Bauer. And he's just like needling that thing. So
they don't have to worry, but they're getting the check in the mail. A lot of
They're
money.
gonna be fine. They're gonna be a lot of money. A lot of money. All right, squad, we did it. Next week, we're bringing back a little bit of OG race brain. We're gonna do top 10 women of all time in HYROX. I'll be joined on that show by Michelle Navarro and your boy Richard Ryan. He's coming back. He's coming back. Top 10 women. And then following that, we will do the top 10 men. Squad, as always, appreciate everybody dropping on. BK, is it true what your boy says? Do biceps win races?
Whose boy?
Your boy. Do biceps win races? Could you just flex for the crowd? You said
They never have. They never will. Quads win races.
Quads win races. All right, gang. We're out.
Bye.